Jason Graystone here. I'll be taking you through the first session of our Bridging the Gap special, very special bootcamp workshop. We've got 4 days of intensive, immersive education, plus a bonus day of Q&A, which we haven't done before. Plus, there's even talk of a trader meetup on Saturday if you're in the UK as well, which will complement this particular session as well. Whether you're new to trading, you've been trading for a while, you're part of our team, part of our community, we're going to really kick the week off. Like, this is a tier 1. This week is dedicated to trading. So I hope you guys have blocked out all distractions, thrown yourself in, and you're ready for it. Everyone ready for it? No video? No, we don't usually play the video because sometimes it can cause issues with other people streaming. So we tend to leave the webcams off unless we're doing guests and things like that. We're going to be hearing from some traders later in the week, but I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Ready? Cool. So I just asked where everyone's from, and we had a ton of all over the world. I think we've served about 133 countries, something like that, at tier 1. Maybe more, I might be wrong. Darren will tell me off for that, but it's somewhere around that ballpark, which is phenomenal. And every time I do these events, I'm just so, well, grateful that I can step up and talk to so many people and share our messages, our insights, our strategies, our tips, our lessons that are going to, hopefully, you're going to leave with a nugget or two and it will help you in some way. But regardless, our trading events are infamous and renowned for being high value, high energy. They're really great events, and they've got a great feel to them, great community. And it's a lot of the time, many of the members show up time and time again. They've been here for years and they still rock up to these events to support them because they're just, well, I know we're biased, but they're the best. Simple as that, really. Trinidad and Tobago, not seeing my face. You won't see my face. Oh, you don't want to see my face. We'll have we want to gain attendees, not lose them. Always learn a nugget. Excellent. All right, Akil. You're not supposed to say that. All right, so we have got a ram-packed event for you guys. We've had to split it over 5 days just because it's so ram-packed. And I want to share with you some what's to come. First of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about me, just for those of you guys who don't know me. I'm Jason Graystone. I'm a professional investor, trader, entrepreneur. I build businesses. I grow my income through investments. I create assets. I buy assets. I invest in the markets. I buy, I'm an angel investor. So I invest in startups, and I'm a trader. So I trade the financial markets, which is why you guys are all here today. And some of you might know me and been following my trading journey since I kind of became a voice in the space. When I felt that there was too much crap out there, quite frankly, I decided that I wanted to form allegiance with other people that were singing the right tune as well. And that's why we became tier 1 trading. So we've got some great guys here. I'm joined by my partners. We've got Akil, we've got Darren, we've got Charles, and we're going to do our best to make sure that you go away with as much value as possible so that you don't steer into the wrong direction, being very costly and timely on your trading journey. And no matter what stage of trading you're at, our goal for this, the way we've structured this type of this event, is to bridge any little gaps along the way. Because what we've found is along the way, we've had traders who rush through things, skip things, and then they go live and they haven't quite bridged a knowledge gap or something in the basics. And what that causes them to do is they become embarrassed to ask questions, and then they try and just fluff over it or fudge it in some way, and it ends in disaster. We've also had people who just have a knowledge gap from day one. So they're really struggling to learn the basics, or they might have a knowledge gap or an execution gap where they're struggling with trade execution and they're over trading, or they're making mistakes. So we want to cover some stuff on that as well. And then of course there's strategy gaps and performance gaps and improvement gaps and sustainability gaps. And we're going to cover all of that stuff. So I'm really excited for this. But I'm Jason Graystone. I'm a co-founder of Tier 1 Trading. We built Tier 1 Trading back in 2017 December, and we launched in 2018 January. And since then, it's just become an incredible platform to be able to share great messages, and we've built a phenomenal community here. But I'm not just a trader. I'm not a recluse. I know I live with a family. I've got my family, and I like to share as much as I can to the community as well. So there was a time when I ended up just sat at home. All of my money and my income was coming through investments and trading, and I didn't really feel like I was up to much in the world. And of course, if you guys know my message of Always Free, you know that it's about being up to something. And that's why I love helping our traders. I love putting out my thoughts, and I created a newsletter and a podcast. Some of you might have seen that. If you haven't, check it out. It's called Always Free. Went to #1 on iTunes. We've had lots and lots of great reviews on that. And just as a result of being part of Tier 1 as well, we've managed to reach hundreds of thousands of people. These numbers aren't accurate anymore, but it's way over this. And it's been a privilege to do so. In the process, we've managed to work with some of the industry greats. You've got Adam Grimes, who's a phenomenal prop trader and now a retail trader, who actually used to work for Mike at SMB, and Mike Bellafiore as well on the left-hand side there. These guys are just, really, they've become real close friends of mine, and it's great, phenomenal. And I've also been invited to speak on many of the investor trading stages across the world as a result of being part of Tier 1 and forming this innovative platform that was featured in Forbes for being so innovative, by Dr. Brett Steenberger. So it is going from strength to strength, and we're really up to something. Okay, we're really up to something here, and it's been very inspiring to watch some of the bad messages in the industry dissolve because of what we're doing, leading by example. So it's amazing. So, as I said, this is bridging the gap. And over the next 4 days, we are going to iron out as many gaps in your trading as possible. And I'm sure I would lay money, as I'm a trader, I'll lay some money down and say that I don't think there's going to be anyone in here that doesn't walk away with at least one nugget. And if you can walk away with 1 or 2 nuggets, then it's all worth it, right? It is, in my opinion, anyway. That's very much how I've been. That's how I've approached all of my self-development throughout my life. If I can just take away 1 or 2 things, it's really been worth it. And as long as you can implement that and take action on it, because just sitting in your head is no good. Just sitting in your head. It's knowledge is not power. Okay, I know people say knowledge is power, but it's only power if you implement what you learn. And it's worth writing that down. Knowledge is not power unless you take action and implement what you learn. That's really what power is, because that's what creates progress, and then that creates opportunities, and that creates results, and then that filters back to your beliefs, and then you carry on the cycle. So if it's just sat in your head, it ends up stagnating, dissolving, and becoming nothing. So action is the doctor's order this week. Okay, we're going to be learning and taking action. So with that said, what I wanted to do is, let me just run you through some of this stuff that's to come. We're going to be going through the knowledge gaps. So we're going to be talking about what I'm going to do is I'm going to really start by kicking this off with assessing you guys so that we can get the most out of this particular workshop. We're going to do a little assessment, which I'm going to give you in a moment, which is about identifying where you're at, your gaps, what type of what situation you're in. We're also going to be talking about learning the language of the market, price action, structure, market movement. We're going to be talking, and it's going to be very, very practical. We're going to be doing top-down analysis, identifying trends and things like that. And a lot of the information we're going to be giving out throughout these 4 days is going to be very practical. We're going to relay it and relate it to real live in the markets. We're going to show the actual, we're going to be as practical as possible. Then we're going to be talking about the strategy gap. So, as I said, knowledge equals potential power. If you take action. So we're going to be talking about strategy. We're going to be talking about statistical edge. We're going to talk about how how to remove emotion from your trading, how to have a good strategy, what that's formed of, the anatomy of a strategy, rules-based trading. We're going to be talking about strategy development, if-then thought syntax, rules of engagement. We're going to be talking about verifying and testing and repeating those rules of engagement. I'm going to give you some examples there. Then we're going to be talking about performance gap. So that's when we're going to be talking about implementation, strategy, your capability, your confidence, your consistency. We're going to be talking about we're going to be looking at live analysis again, obviously, and just really delving deep into some of the gaps in your capability, your confidence, and your performance as a trader. All right. And then we're going to go over to sustainability and improvement. And this is kind of the secret sauce. This is where we're going to be talking about, the business side of things, the development side of things, the self-review, the fine-tuning, how to get better, modifying and refining your edge, optimizing strategies. We're going to be talking about refining your trading, like your RAS, systemizing your strategies, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be talking about money management. And then we're going to be talking about bridging the gaps. So we're going to be looking at traders that have come through and already done that. We're going to be meeting some traders who are going to share their stories as well. So that's going to be really inspiring as well. And then, of course, we've got the dedicated Q&A on Friday. And also this Saturday, which we've kind of organized as a bit of a bonus, really, but there's going to be a trader meetup. For anyone who's in the UK, London area, we're actually having a local community trader meetup on the 14th of August, which is Saturday. So it just worked out really nicely that was just to celebrate the end of this amazing workshop. So does that sound good? Sound like a lot to take in? It's going to be, as I say, it's pretty intense. It's pretty in depth. It's going to be a lot to go through, and it's going to take you through. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Satyr's model of change, but it's kind of, we're going to take you through some depths. Okay, some of it's going to be very inspiring to you. Some of it's going to be not very inspiring, because we're going to dig out some of the pain points in you, and we're going to help you push through. So some of it's going to feel a little bit tough to swallow, but you don't get growth without challenge, right? So that's the aim for this. And if you guys have got any questions as you go through, and I'm going to set you some goals as I come towards the end of my first session here as well. But if you've got any questions, please make a note of your questions, because we want to, or shoot them into the chat. And what we're going to be doing as we go through is we're going to be copy and pasting those questions into a little database so that we can have them all ready to go through on Friday as a dedicated Q&A session. Now, if there's any kind of questions about what we're looking at the time, of course, we'll answer them off the cuff, we'll fire them off. But if there's any detailed questions that we think we can provide a real nice detailed answer to, we will archive those ready for Friday. So don't be shy of asking questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So please ask as many as you can. Ready to dig in. Lockdown in the UK is eased now. Meetups are allowed. Yeah, we're allowed to meet up now. I don't know if there's limits to tables and things like that, but I'm not organizing it. Right, so what I want to do first of all, guys, is give you a little link. So I'm going to shoot in a little link. Make sure you've got access to the chat window here. We're going to be firing a few links in throughout the week as well. So first things first, let's pin this to the top. There's a little link here, and what that's going to take you to, in fact, I'm going to end this screen here, and I'm going to go to What one am I going to go to? This one here. Oh, you guys can see this. You guys can see this anyway. There you go. So this is what you're going to be. This is what you're going to be presented with. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work through this with you so you guys know and understand the questions. And obviously you haven't got to complete it in depth in this session, but it's really going to pay you to work through this after this session. And the point is, I'm going to ask you guys to shout out some answers so that we can all kind of gauge where everyone's at, so that we can tailor the content in this workshop specifically so that you get the most maximum value out of it. Sound fair? So if that sounds fair, let me know when you guys have loaded this thing up. Don't rush through it. Please don't click through all the questions. We'll go through it together. And this is a great way to start the event, because as I say, we've got a lot to get through, and I want to start by you guys committing to this, really assessing where you're at. Good stuff. So first question is, why are you learning to trade? And the reason I like this question is because a lot of people come in here and we do a real good job of filtering out the wrong types of people. But our first message is, if you're doing it because you think it's the quickest way to make money and you've got no interest in the markets, okay, then I would click B on this question. And my honest advice is to close it down, click exit event, and go and find something that you love and you're interested in. And normally when I say things like this, people are a bit taken aback and a bit gobsmacked, and they're like, wow. But we mean it, right, guys? Like Darren, Akil, this is how we roll, okay? So if you think that you want to get into trading because you've got no interest other than, I just want to make money quick because so-and-so is doing it on Instagram, then click B, close the quiz, go and make yourself a coffee and go and listen to some music or something, all right? So hopefully all of you guys have clicked A, okay? Now, there's no wrong or right answer from here on out, okay? So the next one is, do you understand the basics of how to read price of markets? So what we're trying to do is filter out gaps, trying to identify where the gaps are here. Are you confident that you understand the basics of how to read price? And what I mean by that is, do you know the basics? Do you know pip calculations? Do you know how to read candlesticks? Do you know how to read price, structure, support, resistance? Do you know how to read platforms? Do you understand order flow and order placement? Do you understand how to read price, basically? Okay, so are you confident in the basics? That's what I'm trying to get across in this question. And it's okay, there's no wrong or right answer. Click the most honest answer, okay? And once you've done that, we'll move on. The next one is, want to make money fast? Go OnlyFans. I don't think I'd make money fast on there. Do you have a trading strategy? Okay, so again, there's no wrong or right answer. We're just trying to gauge where everyone's at. Remember, we're getting access to these results as well. They're totally anonymous, guys, as well. So don't hold back on putting in your answer. You haven't got to put your name or email in or anything on there. It's totally anonymous. So please be honest. Gives us good insights on how to tailor the events, not just this event, but future events as well. Do you have a trading strategy? And what that means is, do you have a strategy that you can comfortably trade in the markets? You know it back to front. You can identify it in the markets live, in the real live markets, and you can identify the setups, and you're very confident in that. All right. Next one. Have you tested your strategy for a positive expectancy? So we're trying to see where you're at in the progress level now, because a lot of people don't test their strategy. They have one, they haven't tested it, and that's fine. You might be a yes and then a no, or you might be a yes and then a yes. Well, guess what? You might be, you might not have a strategy because you've tested one and you found it not to be profitable. So you might be in between. But these are directly correlated, these two questions. Have you tested your strategy for a positive expectancy? If the answer is no, click no. If it's yes, click yes. Okay. If you're in the middle of testing, just click no, because you haven't. All right. Again, no wrong or right answer. Next one. Do you have a written trade plan? All right. Now, what a trade plan's made up of is not just the strategy. A lot of people, this is another gap. A gap that we see is people say, yeah, I've got a trade plan, and they show it to me, and it's their strategy. It's their rules of engagement. That is not a trade plan. A trade plan is what times of day you trade, what time frame you trade, how long you trade for, what you do in certain emergencies, what markets do you trade, what are your habits and rituals, what do you do in when do you do your pre-market analysis, when don't you trade, when do you do your post-market analysis, when do you review your trading business? That's a trade plan. Okay, what do you do in certain emergencies of emotion? What do you do in emergencies of tech? That is a trade plan. It's a business plan, as Bobby just says. It's a complete business plan. It's your business policy. Okay, so do you have a written trade plan? Yes or no? Many of you guys won't have one, and I know that because I just know that most people don't get to that stage just yet, and that's absolutely fine. Have you tested your trade plan, and are you confident in it? So remember, when we're testing, we're not just testing a strategy, we're testing a trade plan. We're testing to see if it works at a certain time, whether or not you can do it, whether or not it's profitable, whether or not there's opportunities on certain time frames at certain times of day. So it's all linked together. Okay, so you have to be able to have tested your trade plan. Okay, now some of you, many of you won't have done this. Many of you won't have done this. I'm going to be talking in deep about this because this is a topic that's rarely available anywhere because it just isn't sexy. We're going to be covering some of this on Thursday. So if it's yes, click yes. If it's no, click no. Next question, are you trading live? Now, this is a slap in the face, isn't it? Because if you look at the questions and you've answered no to any of those, and then it's, are you trading live? And you click yes, that's a bit of a, you probably feel a bit silly. You probably feel a bit shameful. The music is not playing. If your music's playing, just refresh the room. Music shouldn't be playing, guys. Yeah, I closed off the music. Feels like should come out of the assessment and slap them if they answered no and then yes. So look, again, we're not here to belittle or shame anyone, but this is for you. This is a gap assessment. So it's seeing where your gaps are. So already, if you've answered yes to this question, no to the ones before, that should bring up something in you. It should make you feel a type of way, okay? And again, that's highlighting a gap, something that you feel like you're missing in your trading. Next question. What issues do you have trading live? Now, this is one I want to throw to the guys here live. All right. So you guys let us know what issues you have trading live. I've put some of the four main challenges here: consistency, execution, meaning so consistency means you're either chopping systems or you're not consistent in your analysis or not placing trades consistently. Execution is you're taking wrong trades or you're making errors in your trading or you're missing trades, okay? Or you're kind of emotional, but that's down to mindset really. Management is managing the trade properly. Mindset is more emotional. So it's going to be one of those probably, but if you guys have got any others, please let us know because we can tackle that as well. If you've got a specific challenge, an issue that you face, that you feel like you're the only one that has this problem, please fire it in. Let us know what that is. And I really appreciate people being open and honest about that. Remember, this is our little community, our little boot camp here. We don't run boot camps as these kind of fluffy little things. Our boot camps are real closed door, confidential. You know, what goes on in here stays in here, and we want everyone to go away with being better than what we found them. So if you're only going to benefit by laying your cards on the table. Management, mindset, execution. See, so is it fair to say there's not much outside of these four that is a problem? Because a lot of the time traders feel alone and they feel like they're the only one and they beat themselves up a little bit because they think, oh, I'm the only one with this problem. Well, we've only categorized it into four. You know, so that should give you some confidence that we kind of got a lot of sample sizing when it comes to traders' problems. Let's just say that over the thousands of emails that we've received since we started. So it really is only these 4. So it's not too bad, is it? All right. Consistency is a big one. Next question, define your trading style. So are you a technical trader, fundamental trader? Are you a bit of both? Or are you erratic? No consistent approach. Now all you guys can answer as you go on all of these questions. You can type in here as well. So technicals, we've got some hybrids, bit of both. Technical, cool. C, but predominantly A, technical. Okay, so look, it looks like the majority of you guys are technical traders. Define your trading approach. So are you a swing trader, intraday trader, day trader, scalper, long-term investor? So kind of time frame wise, or how long you spend in a trade. Are you 3 days to a few weeks? Are you 1 hour to 3 hours? Are you 5 minutes to 1 hour? Are you in and out within minutes? Or are you months and months? Which is more of an investor. So swing trader, intraday, day trader, scalper. Again, you can answer here and click the button in the form as well. We've got a big mismatch here. So mix match. Day traders, we've got swing traders, got nice little sample size there. All right, cool. Next question. What made you choose this kind of approach? So what made you choose this kind of approach? All right. Now, what I want you to write here is an answer that will really give us some insight into how people are approaching trading. We're going to come back to this during the event. All right. So I'm going to use some of these answers. Remember, it's anonymous. This might be one you want to fill in later, but you can definitely fill it in now. And if you want to be kind enough to share some insights or some views on this, you can type it into this chat if you're brave enough as well. But look, if you have no consistent approach, write down why you trade, how you trade. Okay, so look, what made you choose this type of approach to trading? Very simple. Next question, how much time do you spend analyzing the markets prior to a trade? All right, this will give us insights into how much time you're spending in the markets. Again, no wrong or right answer, but it is relevant to the previous questions. So it kind of gives us some trends there to monitor. Is it 5 minutes? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 45 minutes? Is it 1 hour? My swing trading takes me about 15 minutes a day maximum. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How many trades do you take on average per week? So 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20. Nowadays, I'm more in the 1 to 5 category. So I sit very much in the 1 to 5 category. Sometimes 5 to 10, but it's on average 1 to 5. So I'm normally taking 16 to 20 trades per month on average. Okay. Next question. Very simple, that one. What is your average winning trade in pips and currency? So look, if you don't know, right, you don't know, and there's a gap. Okay, it's a knowledge gap, it's a performance gap, it's an improvement gap. See what we're doing? You don't know, you don't know, you don't know. Okay. Be honest and write that into the form, please, guys, and we can help you with that. The next one, what is your average losing trade in pips and currency? Now, if you don't know your wins, I'm going to take a guess and say you don't know your losses because people are much more likely to count their wins than count their losses. I think that's safe to say. All right, so if you don't know, you don't know. Next question. Who's finding this challenging, by the way? Or who's finding this helpful? It's a bit of a self-review at the same time. Yeah. And also, guys, remember, most people don't take the time to give themselves permission to do this kind of thing. So just using it as an opportunity to do it now is a real great thing to do, because you probably wouldn't do this if you wasn't at this event, which is great because it's so important. What is your average win percentage on all trades? Okay, so this is your, in other words, how often you're right. Okay, so are you right 50% of the time, 40% of the time, 60% of the time, 100% of the time? If you are, send me your bank details. I'll make a transfer. And if you don't know, right, I don't know. Simple as that. Do you have specific rules for entering a trade based on historical positive probabilities? All right, so it's kind of going back to your positive expectancy question, but it's a little bit deeper, because this is going into your strategy and saying, have you got specific rules for that strategy that have been built based on historical positive probabilities? So in other words, you've tested that strategy, and that's how you develop that strategy. Earlier on, I was talking about testing the whole trade plan. This is like specifically testing that strategy, and you're 100% happy with it. Be honest. Fred says no. Martin says yes. Great. It's good that you guys are engaging here as well. Big one. Do you use a stop loss? All right. This is an execution gap. This is a performance gap. Yes, no, sometimes. Always, says Peter. Yes. No, says Burhan. Hell yes. Always. No, says Fred. Right. There's an eye opener there, right? How long have you been trading using this approach? So basically, let us know how long you've been on this path where you think you've got something that's working, or you're currently trading or working on. How long have you been using that approach? It doesn't mean you're trading live either. Just how long have you been using this approach? How long have you been working on your current system? How long are you trading your certain system if you're trading it live? How long are you demo trading? How long have you been working on it? 2 years, 1 year, 6 months? As many people should answer this question in the chat as possible. This will really give us some insight into what we're dealing with in terms of experience. It's normally between 6 months and 3 years, okay, which is kind of the average journey of a consistently profitable trader. You know, that is what it is. Cool. Next question. How long did you study this approach before trading it in real time? So how long did it take you to test and be comfortable with and demo trade, if you demo traded anything? How long did that journey take before? So like if you've just written 3 years just there, or 6 months just there, you might just still be on 6 months. But if it was 3 years, how long did you study it before you became, before you went ahead and went live? Was it 18 months? Was it a year? Was it 6 months? What was that period? Again, this is really important insight here into the trader journey, so that we can fill those gaps. We can see those common trends with what worked, what didn't work, and we can help you guys more. What have your results been like using this style? So this is a good question. How happy are you with it? What are your results like? Explain in your own words. There's no 0 to 10. There's no wrong or right. It's how you feel. How do you feel? How do you feel with how your results have been so far using this style? Not enough data yet. Great answer. Great answer. Poor, inconsistent, not good yet. Losses are bigger than wins. Failure. Great. So there's some gaps there, isn't there? There's some gaps there in strategy or performance gap. So great. Next question. How has your profit and loss affected you emotionally? This is a real vulnerable question to answer. I appreciate if you don't want to share, but if you do, it's going to be even more powerful. Not just for the other guys to hear, but for you to show your cards, and then other people relate to you, because it will make you realize that you're not the only one. Many people go through hard challenges when it comes to trading, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You get very deflated, even if you do love it. And then there's the financial aspect as well, which it kind of it really kind of highlights the strain and the struggle. So how has your profit and loss affected you emotionally, specifically? I feel emotions either win or lose, feeling a bit drained every week. I feel so bad when I lose. It doesn't anymore because I try not to attach myself to my trades. Losses, I look at the business cost. Great, excellent. Drained, I feel it. Sometimes I'm afraid to pull the button. Great. So we're going to be going through all of this kind of stuff. Missed trades are even worse. Yep. Performance discrepancy is something that I'd like to talk about if we get a chance. All right. By the way, don't forget to go back to this as well. You can do it later on tonight, today, whatever it is, before tomorrow, or you can just continue to fill this in over the week. But I appreciate you guys sharing your answers as we go through as well. How has your profit and loss affected you physically? All right. So is there been any physical, like lack of sleep, tiredness, snappiness? Like, are you worn out? Like, is it affecting your gym so you don't go to the gym anymore? Is it affecting your driving? Is it affecting your eyesight? Is it affecting your, are you spending too much time visiting the fridge like I did when I when I became a house husband? All of these kind of things is a bit of a physical effect. And if you're aware of them and you bring them to the surface, we can start to see the gaps. We can start to highlight what we need to work on. And it all plays a part in your performance. I'm just doing, some of you guys are following my shred challenge for my 40th birthday. And I can tell you, like, I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling energetic. I feel like I've got more energy. I feel like, I feel like I just feel great. So it does have an effect. And it can happen the other way too. I'm in the fridge more than the charts. Was lack of sleep that had no limits in place, but had limits in place. Beginning, I was fatigued, eyes were bad, heart palpitations. It was very bad. Relax, I take care of myself and my performance. Yeah, sometimes you just end up drinking more coffee and then that causes, palpitations and you get hot, sweats and all this kind of stuff. It's all stuff to be aware of. Next question. How has your profit and loss affected you financially? All right. Now, you don't have to share figures here. You can on the actual test because it's anonymous. But is there a specific number that you've lost? Or how has that financial loss affected you? Okay. Have you had a row with your partner? Has it caused problems in your family? Have you learned from it? Okay. Because it could be a positive perceived effect. Okay. So you could have learned a lesson from it, but specifically we're looking at your perceived financial drawbacks, your the downsides, or what you perceive to be downsides to that financial profit and loss. So how has that affected you? Next one is, how would becoming a better trader benefit you emotionally? Now, these are questions that you're going to have to write down quite a few answers to, because this is something you want to think about. Just by answering this question as many times as you can, if you can get 20, 50 answers to this question, I'm not joking, 20, 50 answers to this question, you are going to have a new belief system about why you need to fill the gaps in your trading. You will start writing new neural pathways in your brain that basically shape your beliefs on why you need to get good and why you need to turn it around, because this is basically you admitting how becoming a better trader is going to benefit you emotionally, not only emotionally, but physically. So in other words, if you was to become a better trader, write down as many reasons as how that will benefit you in some way. And don't stop at you, keep going onto your family, your spouse, your partners, your parents, your brother, your sister, your kids, your workplace, your colleagues, your boss, whoever it might be. How will it affect you? If you was just a better trader, how would it affect you mentally, physically? How will it affect you financially? How will it benefit you financially? Specific. You have to be specific. And I work with lots and lots of high net worth individuals, as lots of you know, lots of high net worth individuals who are rubbish with money and they don't have any specific goals. They're good at making money, but because they don't know the numbers, they haven't got a clue how adding a strategy or adding an investment strategy to their portfolio will help benefit them financially, because more money is not an answer. Does that make sense to everyone? Just say, oh, more money. That's not an answer. How much do you need? What is the figure? What are you aiming for? And how would that benefit you? Okay, how will becoming a better trader benefit you financially? Because how much will you be earning and how much do you need to earn on average over a 12-month period? And how will that benefit you? Know the numbers, get clear about the numbers. No one gets clear about the numbers, and it's honestly, it's a shame. This one is a bit of a kick in the teeth, and this might be something you want to come back to later, but I'd love it if some of you shared some off the top of your head. What has been your biggest time wasters, inefficiencies, or mistakes in your trading so far? So this is where we all share. Okay. Now, time wasters, searching system after system after system, right? Chasing shine, system hopping. Inefficiencies, that could be the same thing. Inefficiencies is also placing trades for no reason. You know, paying the broker every time you get in and out of a trade. That's not efficient, is it? System hopping, placing trades when you don't know why you're in them, over trading, forcing trades, that's not efficient. Mistakes. What are your mistakes? The wrong orders. You know, literally technical mistakes. Trading when you're under the influence of alcohol. Right? Trading when you shouldn't be. That's a mistake. Being in a trade that you shouldn't have taken. Forcing trades. Revenge trading. It's a mistake. Shouldn't be doing it, and it's down to emotions. Following trades from Fintwit. Boredom. Pulling the trigger, not studying, watching and doing. Self-sabotage, overtrading. Really appreciate all these answers, guys. It really is. I mean, it does more for this community than you'll ever know. It really does. I think that's why we get such a great turnout and a great feedback from these events, because it's so much more. It's a real relatable environment. We're all the same. Not tracking trades, not following the plan. It's a mastermind. Yeah, absolutely. It is. All right. So this is a deep question, and I'd love it if you could get deep about this to help us out as well, to provide as much value for you guys as possible. Next question is, this is a good one. And this one I asked my my private clients as well. What do you want to be, do, and have 3 years from now? And I want you to assume that there's no limits. Okay, and be realistic, but no limits. All right, so don't think that things are going to get in your way. Just 3 years on, what do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And what do you want to have 3 years from now? Take permission. Have permission to go there and write it down. And some of you can share with yours if you want and be very specific. Don't say more money, right? Don't say more time. How much time? So when you're thinking about the answers to these, freedom to travel, very, very common. When you're thinking about the answers to these questions, a very, very powerful exercise to do is try to accommodate each answer with something that would have to be evident in your environment to prove that you've got that or you've achieved that. Okay, so let me give you an example of what I mean. If you say I want a Ferrari, okay, the evidence of that Ferrari will be the Ferrari sitting on your drive. That would be in your environment, and you could look down at it and it's proved that you've got it. But there's more intangible things than that, like more time, more money, or I want to be a better partner or parent or brother or sister, right? Well, what has to be happening in your environment to you or with you to prove that you've actually achieved that, so that you can put a stake in the ground and go, right, done it, milestone complete? Will it be someone funding you, right? So that's one thing. Will it be someone ringing you and saying, look, I just want to say you've been a great friend to me lately, you know, with all the extra effort. It's unnoticed. It's not unnoticed the amount of time you've put into our relationship lately. Is that something that needs to happen? Okay, does that need to happen? So try and make it real. It's a real powerful manifestation process if you can actually not only write down what you want to be and what you want to be doing and what you want to have in your life 3 years from now, but also to visualize what is happening around you to give you proof in your mind that that is actually where you are. Because then you've got two things that are tangible to go for, and it makes it more real. Full-time trader, living abroad, angel investor in multiple smaller companies, having the timing and consistent money coming in to take risks and start my own ventures, mentally and physically healthier and happier than I currently am. Amazing. Excellent. And you believe in your heart of hearts that learning to trade is going to complement your journey to getting that result, Alfie. That's specifically to you because you was kind enough to put such a detailed answer in. I'll fund myself. I want to work from home. Very tangible. Okay, so you're at home. That's the evidence in your environment. Full-time trader, my own trading academy. Retired from work, full-time trading. Be consistent trader, be funded. A super trader. Excellent. Great answers. Plan to have kids, need to get into property ladder, spend more time with my family, freedom to leave work, look after my family. Okay, so just bear in mind when you answer this question, just try and get as specific as possible as how trading will complement that and commit to it. All right, because you might find they won't complement it and you think, oh, actually, yeah, I've overlooked that. And then there's a gap. Okay. For many of you, it will just help reinforce why you're here this week with us. And give you the encouragement and motivation and inspiration to push forward. All right, because as I say, these events, we put a lot of energy into them. It would be a crying shame to walk away and then just go, I'll just leave it. All right, so the next question's a tough one because it's a kick in the teeth. You are now going to look at the answers you just wrote down of where you wanted to be, what you want to be doing, what you want to have 3 years from now. And now you're going to write down what are some of the things that might stop you getting there based on what you wrote down in the last question. What are some of the hurdles, setbacks, roadblocks? Is it a technical problem? Is it a technical knowledge gap? Is it a shame or guilt? Is it support? Is it just something, a mistake that you've made before that keeps rearing its head? Is it a mindset thing? Is it something that will creep up on you that's creeped up before and stopped you from getting it? In other words, why haven't you got it right now? Why haven't you got those things right now? And I know that's a real tough cookie to swallow, but that's the best way to look at this. What are some of the biggest inefficiencies you've made? What are some of the biggest time wasters you've made? What are some of the mistakes you've made? Are they likely to come up again? Okay. So real difficult question to answer this one, but I do strongly recommend you take the time to fill this one out because this is a statement to yourself. And guess what? The answer to this question, guess who cares about it? No one other than you. You can show the answer to this question to anyone, and although it's quite emotional looking at it, you're the only one feeling emotion. No one else cares. Alfie doesn't care what Oiter's answer is. Barry doesn't care what Tori's answer is. Chris doesn't care what Michael's answer is. No one cares because it's only on you. So you've got to answer this question and then look at it and think, no one cares about this other than me. Procrastination. A lot of people say procrastination. That comes up a lot. And perhaps I'll share some thoughts on that in just a moment. I'll share some thoughts on procrastination, but take the time to write the answer to this, guys, and understand that it's only you that can do it. Given your current situation, how dedicated are you to achieving the results you want? Now, you can take procrastination into consideration when answering this as well. All right. Fear of losing money, blowing up an account. I'll touch on that as well. Given your current situation, how dedicated are you to achieving the results you want? Be honest. There you go. We got some 4, we got a 7, we got a 9. Have we got any 10s? Have we got any 1s? I don't think we've got any 1s because you wouldn't be here. It's fair to say. If you're at this event, you're at least a 5. Okay? I think that's fair to say. If you're at this event, you're at least a 5. So between 5 and 10, I would say all of you guys would be around about somewhere in there. If you've just put 5 and you've turned up to this event, it's because you're just learning. You don't even know what it's about. Make sense? 100. Love it. I watch it twice. Amazing. All right. Where would you say you are right now relative to your goal? So this is a really important one. Okay, so you've just said how dedicated you are from 5 to 10. Where would you say you are right now? Now, you could be at a 1 here. You could quite easily be at a 0, 1. So this is really a truly 0 to 10. 1, 2. Okay, so now there's a gap, isn't there? There's a progress gap. And that's highlighting a progress gap to you guys that we're going to be going over and helping you with this week. You now know whatever the gap is between your answer 2 and your answer 1 is how much work you've got to do and what you need to commit to. Fair? This is why I love this sort of thing, because it's nothing. This doesn't lie. Yeah, numbers can't lie. This is you putting it in. We're not forcing you to do anything. It's just a self-review, self-reflection, and you get numbers that do not lie. It's black and white. And it stares you in the face. Okay. Now, this is the final question, and this might be something that you want to write down on your notepad or save it as a screenshot. But write down what you're going to do in order to continuously move towards your trading goals and why you deserve to be a master of your financial destiny. Very, very powerful statement. I want you guys to write that statement down. Take some time to do it tonight and really get clear about this. Write it down. And once you're done, hit submit. Okay? And we're going to use this information throughout the workshop to give you guys some insights, share some key ideas. Now, before we're going to take a little break in a minute. Hopefully you got value from that, guys. I want to give you some goals that we want to set throughout this week that you need to commit to. And before I give you those goals, I want to just say some words on a couple of things that came up there. Procrastination was the first one, okay? Procrastination is caused by 2 things, all right? There's 2 types of people that suffer procrastination. 80% of them are in the first category, which is they're trying to do something that isn't important to them, intrinsically motivating to them. They don't wake up and really want to do it. That's 80% of the people, believe it or not. They try and live other people's lives. They try and chase things like, you know, the designer clothes, the Ferrari, the Rolex, all that stuff that isn't meaningful. So when they get up and they try and do that and they want to learn to trade because Pip Daddy on Instagram's trading, they are chasing something that is not valuable to them. Right? Think about it this way. You know, when you all go to Disneyland and you put the little strap around your wrist and you go through the gates and they say, go and be a kid again. And you feel like a kid and you feel, you love it. And you're doing all the things you love doing naturally. If you don't feel like that about a certain venture and you don't feel like it's inside of you to do it, then that is a warning mechanism. Procrastination is there to say, snap out of it. Now, this isn't something that you really want to do. And unfortunately, most people live their life that way. So that's 80% of the people. The 20% is purely down to overwhelm. Okay, and the reason you got overwhelmed is because you haven't broken things down enough. You haven't identified and chunked down each little task, and you haven't got a roadmap and you haven't got a plan, so that you have so many gaps that you don't know where to start. You just don't know where to start. And not only that, because you haven't chunked it down, there's going to be tiny little pieces, tiny little to-dos that you are subconsciously avoiding. And because you haven't chunked it down to delegate it or do it last, all of a sudden it's just chunked up in this big one to do, and you're avoiding the whole thing. Because you know it's there. It might be the tax thing. It might be the financial thing. Right? But because it's there all in one lump, you avoid the whole thing. So you're either trying to do something that isn't important to you, or you have got overwhelmed because you haven't chunked down the goals. I'm going to help you with that this week. The other thing I just want to touch on before we take a quick break is the fear. Someone said fear of losing money. You might have heard me talk about fear before. I've studied fear and greed and all the other emotions for many, many years. And what I would say to you is this: you can't fear something that you don't really know about. All right. A fear, firstly, is an imagination. So get really clear about why you fear losing money, because that will be the answer. Is it because you've lost money before and it caused a certain outcome in your life? That will be closer to the truth. What is it you're fearing? It's not the fear of losing money. Okay, you can't really fear losing money. All you can fear is the ramifications of losing money. Does that make sense? Because look, if I gave my son £10 and he didn't really value money, I didn't even know what it was about, and he lost it down the drain, he isn't fearing losing money. He won't fear losing money. So it's the actual consequences of losing the money that's causing the fear. And that's usually to do with something that's happened in your past, because you wouldn't know about it otherwise. So it's there. There's a specific charge in your past that is causing you to fear the loss of money again. And what you need to do is pinpoint what that is and ask yourself, what was the growth? What was the benefit? What was the progress you made as a result of losing that money? How did it make you better? And once you've done that, you don't have a fear anymore, because you neutralize the charge. You neutralize the fear. Make sense? Right, there's many reasons and there's many benefits. All right. So hopefully you got value from that. I'm going to set you some goals. I want you to think heavily about identifying what gaps you've got in knowledge, what gaps you've got in your strategy, what gaps you've got in your performance, what gaps you've got in your improving and sustainability, something you're thinking about, oh, this isn't going to work too well in the future. And I want you to keep a log of all the questions that you've got, so that we can really make this the best event for you guys. And I'm going to keep you to this, hold you to this. Keep a log of all your questions ready for the day 5. Also, you can throw the questions in and we'll keep a track of them as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab a quick drink. How many minutes should we put on the clock, guys? Akil? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes? I'll let you share your screen and put the 10-minute timer. And guys, hopefully you got value from that. I'll catch you later on in the event. See you in a bit.